Hello. So we're just waiting for Monica. Hi,
Hi.
how are you?
Oh,
We managed to connect.
we've connected. I've been sitting here, sitting here waiting.
No, we've connected. We've connected, so we're here.
Okay, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you? How's the weekend? It's the long weekend.
It's a long, yeah, we had yesterday off and today's beautiful. Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. It's a nice day here as well, actually. It's not too bad. The weather's comfortable.
Good, good.
Yeah.
I changed position and I'm sitting by my window because I didn't want to sit upright at the desk. How is this? What I might do, just let me, let's see, how's that? No.
No, I think we need you a bit forward so we can see you.
How's that? Can you see me?
No, a little forward.
I might have to move back. Can you see me?
If you have a cushion or something, you can probably put that at the back so you're a bit forward.
Hang on. There we are.
So Ahmed's just joined and he's saying well, he should be enjoying the long weekend. He's there with you.
Yes, up in Manchester. No, London.
No, London. He's in London.
Good. How is he?
So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah. Well, what we're going to do is thank you, everybody. People are joining in, so I'll just introduce myself.
Yeah, go on.
I'll just introduce myself. So, my name is Sabahat. I am a life coach, NLP practitioner, and hypnotherapist, and I'm based in Dubai. I have a practice called Ashmere, and I'm in Dubai, and Monica is in London, and we are joined by the Monica Black. So, I'm just going to introduce Monica in a bit, just to tell you what, there's such a long list. I'll have to keep going back and looking at my notes and say, so I talk about everything that Monica does. Okay, so do you want me to do that or do you want to do it yourself?
No, you've got the notes. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was a long bio, so I really had to kind of list everything so I don't miss out anything. So if I do miss anything, please tell me.
Okay, go on. Shoot.
So I'm joined today by Monica Black. Monica is a master clinical hypnotherapist. She's a master NLP practitioner. She is a trainer, coach, and she's an author of my little book of helpfulness. And she is also a teacher, a media commentator. She is also the creator of a therapy called Negative Neuro Pathway Reversal Therapy, the NNRT. So at the end, we would probably ask you to kind of tell us a little more about that, because that sounds like a very interesting concept, but I think it's not a lot of people know about it. So it would be good to kind of just tell people about that.
Yeah.
And I can go on forever. Did I miss anything?
No, I don't think so. I got it all.
But so today we are here to get some insights from Monica around the weight loss struggles that almost all of us have had at some point in our life. And I had the privilege of training with Monica back in July last year, and then also in January. So I know she's an expert in this, and she has a good command over the whole subject. So we're going to talk about the weight loss struggles and how it can be more sustainable using the power of the mind, and how we can do that. So that's the kind of the discussion that we will be focusing on today. So thank you so much, Monica, for joining us. No. And on the same line, so like I said, everybody has had some kind of weight loss struggle, whether it's a few pounds, or just getting ready for a wedding, or wanting to look good on a holiday with your swimsuit and all. So somebody at some point, feels a bit uncomfortable by the way that they look, and they want to feel better about themselves. So why do we, when we feel like that, why do we end up gaining weight? What are the reasons?
Why do we gain weight? God, weight,
everybody.
Yeah, why weight is such a complex issue.
Yeah.
It's, you know, on the surface, yes, we gain weight, we eat too much. It's really too much in and not enough out. That's the simple thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the simplicity of it. We eat too much and we don't exercise enough. But it's weight is far more complex than that. And there is some, you know, an amazing psychotherapist, neuroscientist once said, to be overweight is to be overlooked.
Absolutely, yeah.
And a lot of people hide behind their weight. They say, if I'm overweight, people won't look at me. I will melt away. And I remember, before I even heard and learned of this, to be overweight is to be overlooked,
Mm-hmm.
a lady came to me. I'd only just qualified. Oh, I'd been qualified maybe for 5 years. And she came to me and she wanted to lose weight. And I, you know, said, how come? What happened to make you put weight on?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I put weight on when my husband died. My next door neighbor was a widower, and I didn't want him to pay attention to me, because if he came on to me, I felt I would be betraying my late husband.
So is this
The
a lot
overweight
to
is
do
the
with?
overload.
So it's a lot to do with the psychological state of mind. So whether it's socializing, you know, your social influences, or some kind of a change in the way that your life, some kind of changes
Yes.
in your life, um, stress.
Yes.
You know, a lot of people do stress eating.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And a lot of people who are overweight suffered abuse as children, both men and women, whether it was mental, whether it was physical, whether it was at school, teachers, you know, bullying, some form of excuse again. So it's not just a matter of more in, less out. You need to look, to start with, at what was the causation of that weight going on.
So I think that's where we struggle. That you know, we always owe it to, or I have heard growing up when I used to go to my grandparents' place during vacation. You know, sometimes you would get comments like, "Oh, she's gone thin," or "She's gone fat," or "How did she put on this?" So that psychological impact of people talking about you makes you more aware of the way that you look, and then you know, you either work on it and make yourself better, or you get caught up in that negative state of mind and just adds on.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, and you know, this talk, you know, we find people, they say, "Oh, I'm going on a diet," and then we get into the yo-yo dieting. Well, when you go on a diet, you come off a diet. And when people go on diets, they come off the diet and they actually put on more weight. They end up by putting on more weight. Exactly.
Do diets work?
No, diets don't work. You know, the true meaning of a diet comes from a Greek word meaning way of life.
Yeah.
When we think of diet, we think of everything we can't eat, don't we? We think, I mustn't eat this and I mustn't eat that, and I can't eat this and I can't eat that. And as soon as we forbid ourselves to have something, I can't have that cake, I can't eat that chocolate. Carbohydrates, you know, but carbohydrates, okay, not junk food and all of that. But I'm forbidden. As soon as we're forbidden to eat something, what do we want? We crave the foods we can't have.
Yeah. So that's where the power of the mind comes in. This is where you need to control. And so going back to what you just said, it's about identifying what is causing the weight gain.
What is causing the weight gain?
You know, I can understand that there could be health reasons that people gain weight, which they don't have any control over. But where it is because of excessive eating and not being able to control what you're eating, and you know, especially in the UK, I don't know, I think everywhere, but I found that I always gained weight in the UK because there was so much fried food, fish and chips, even in schools in those days. my regular school lunch was French fries and a cream bun. So that's what I used to eat. And at the age of 16, I was something like 75 kilos, which is unbelievable. I would never go back. Yeah, absolutely. So I was like, and I actually, my sister keeps, telling me that, and I owe it to her, and I'm guilty of that. That not only did I gain weight, I fed it to her so she can gain weight. So both of us ended up gaining a lot of weight, and which was difficult to lose afterwards because we were at that stage that we couldn't come off it.
Exactly. And sugar is an addiction because it gives us that high, and it works on the part of the brain that's addictive.
Yeah.
And so we get that sugar high, and then we come crashing down, and we need to feed the addiction, and so it goes on and on. And
absolutely.
Yes, and the one thing we need to do is not forbid ourselves. Yes, I can have that food, but in small quantities. Yes, you can have a biscuit, but biscuits aren't forbidden, just not the whole packet. Yeah. And that's where the mind comes in, and that's where our work as coaches and hypnotherapists come in, is with working with the client, allowing them and training them. Yes, you can have a biscuit, you can have a burger, not every day of the week.
Not the full burger.
Exactly. The naked burger. You can have a naked burger.
Somebody's just made a very interesting point that people, especially family, commenting negatively during childhood or early years also makes us have a negative body image for ourselves. And we always consider ourselves far whether we are or not. And I think this is also true for, when we compare it to models, where there is fitness advertising and all of that, and we see this perfect figure, and that's the figure we want to reach. So we just think that we kind of look at our body image, and we keep thinking that we're not there yet, and we're struggling and struggling and struggling.
Exactly. But being overweight, overeating, being obese is a form of self-abuse. It's exactly the same as cutting ourselves. I can equate it to somebody cutting themselves. It is. If we were abused as children, whatever that, as I was saying earlier, quite a lot of people will come out and they'll cut themselves or do other harmful things. You can become anorexic. It's a form of control. Bulimic. You'll overeat. It's a form of abuse. So get to the root. Start off getting to the root. Why are you doing it? Go all the way back. Don't go straight into.
This is where we come in, right? So we try and, as like you just said, that our role as coaches is to facilitate that process where people are then able to identify that this is what is causing it, and and it's usually emotional. So we can establish that this is usually emotional, right?
Yeah.
So as a coach, that's our job to make sure that the individual or the client is able to deal with that negative state of mind or negative emotions, and then get that. So somebody's just asked a question saying, how can we get to the root? Does hypno help?
Yes. How can we get to the root? That's the skill of the therapist, of finding how to get to that root. You'll get to the root in many ways. You have been very successful at getting to the root.
I've got a success story, yes.
You've got many success stories. Why don't you tell us?
No, I've got one really good success story. So this client that I worked with, and this was after the lockdown, so it was all virtual. And the struggle was that she was eating excessively because she was extremely stressed with the work situation, family situation, and her stress levels were really high. So I did the diagnostics, understood that it was the stress that was causing her to eat. But other than that, she could not control her cravings. So she had Coke and snacks and stuff hidden in different places. And she had this mindset that when I want food, I want it immediately and I need to have it. But then we worked through that. And I think in 4 sessions, I did the virtual gastric banding, which we will just discuss now. But in that process, I also focused on kind of bringing those, transforming those negative emotions into positive emotions and addressing the stress levels and, giving her the, through hypnotherapy, through NLP, she was craving a certain food, which through NLP, we created a repulsion towards it, and she can't even look at it now. Yeah. And in 6 weeks, she's lost about 12 kilos, which was unheard of.
It was amazing what you did. Yes.
Yeah. So it was as part of the virtual gastric banding, but I did, as coach, first establish what was it that was causing her to gain that weight and why the unhealthy lifestyle. So it was more lifestyle focused. And then from there onwards, we kind of worked our way through. And she has been absolutely marvelous as far as commitment is concerned. And I think that is really important, that the client is committed to the outcome that they're looking to achieve. So if they are committed, we can get them there.
Yes.
No doubt.
You have to be committed. You have to be committed.
Absolutely.
It will only work providing it is within that client's core beliefs and principles. It's teamwork. It's absolute teamwork. And that has to be explained to the client from the outset.
Absolutely. And that's what we established in that coaching relationship. That's what we established, that we agreed on the goals. I didn't tell her anything. It was her telling me what she wanted. And then we worked our way through that. Yes. And, touch wood, she still has a little way to go. But I think she's done the hard bit. And I think it's more about adopting that healthy lifestyle going forward. So as we are talking about the virtual gastric banding, so a lot of people don't know about it. And gastric banding for people who are really overweight is a quick fix. And a lot of people have done that and successfully. But there are a lot of people who have done it but not been so successful, and they've gone back to their old lifestyle and gained weight again. So Monica, if you can, just explain to everybody here, what does virtual gastric banding actually mean, and how is it different from gastric banding itself?
Okay, again, it's the client has to want this. Again, it has to be within their core beliefs and principles. Many people who are overweight, over 5 stone, how many pounds is that? How many pounds is that?
My conversions are no good. So I just go by stones.
It's a lot of weight. It's a lot of weight.
Yeah, 4 to 5 stones is a lot of weight. Let's just say that.
Of weight. They have to be on the obese level. And they go to have their stomach banded, made much smaller. So their intake of food is greatly reduced. Now, it is a major operation. And most of their food anyway is then sort of liquidized, or their intake of food is very minimal. It's not always successful because people have found ways to actually get around it. And so instead of eating cake, they will go and liquidize their calories. So they'll drink their cakes and their chocolates. So consequently, they don't lose weight. They've spent thousands of pounds, up to £10,000 sterling, and they don't lose weight. Virtual gastric band is a hypnotic technique done over 4 sessions with some follow-ups afterwards, where the client is prepared to have a hypnotic gastric band applied. They will eat normally. So the first 2 sessions is preparation. Sabahat was one of my students on the course in January, wasn't it?
It was January.
In January. And it was a day's masterclass. You have to already be qualified as a hypnotherapist for the course. And so it was a day's course. The first 2 sessions with your client are preparation, and they go away and they have homework in between. The client does. And then on the 3rd session, they have the operation, and it's a guided surgery. They lie on a couch and they're guided through surgery, inverted commas.
Yeah.
The fourth session, they come back for a checkup. They see how the therapist checks them over. And then we'll follow up maybe for a fifth session afterwards. And they do lose weight. And they will carry on losing weight. They don't need to liquidize their cakes. They will eat normally. There are no risks to it because there is no anesthetic. They will carry on eating their food, and a sensible eating plan is worked out for them, and an exercise plan and a motivation and confidence, confidence boosting, self-esteem, and the therapist is with them the whole way through. And that basically is what it's about. Sabahat was absolutely amazing because with her, this one client of hers who actually doesn't live near her, but she did it in lockdown, has lost a huge amount of weight.
Yeah, and she's still losing. You know, I think there's been a bit of a roadblock. I wouldn't call it a roadblock, but because she started now working out, which she wasn't doing before, so she started gaining this muscle mass. So there isn't a lot of change on the weighing scale, but the measurement wise and toning wise and kind of the energy levels, they are a lot better than they were before. And these days it's a bit of a struggle because of the Ramadan and fasting. So, but she's able to do intermittent fasting because of that, because she's keeping her fast and then she eats a bit later. So it's a 16-hour intermittent fasting, which is also working. But I think she's done the hard bit, and now it's more about consistency. And now she knows what's good for her, and she doesn't crave anymore. And that's the best part of it.
Yes.
That
yes,
there is no craving.
That's the best part. And you're working with somebody now in Canada, aren't you?
I am. I'm working with somebody there, and I'm also going to be working with somebody here in Dubai soon. I think from Monday onwards, and that's the plan. But you know, I think what I had to establish was that the commitment, like you said earlier, the commitment was there. When the commitment is there, then they set their goals. We just facilitate that part. You know, that movement, so they can get to the goal that they want to get to. So they establish what is the target weight. We set small goals. We reach those goals, celebrate that success, and then move on to the next one. So like in little bits and pieces, it really works. It works really well because they've got these small achievements that they are celebrating along the way, and that is motivational as well.
Exactly. And I think after the world comes out of lockdown, weight is going to be a big issue. Whether it's people have gone from being overweight to becoming obese, or from being a normal weight, a comfortable weight, to being overweight. That's my feeling, is that weight is going to be an issue.
There are people that I have known of who are disciplined enough and they're maintaining what they have. But you're right, it's still a bit restrictive, you know, so they are not able to do what they would be able to do under normal circumstances. I don't think there isn't a diet that I haven't tried or a workout that I haven't tried. So my sister keeps telling me that you have to try everything. So I have my own routine. So I tend to get bored by the same routine. I'm not a gym person. I don't like going to the gym. And I'm sure a lot of people here would feel similar in different, in different techniques. Some people like workouts. Some people like going to the gym and working out with everybody else. For others, it's a bit boring. For me, it's a bit sleepy and boring. So I don't like that. But I've started enjoying home workouts, and that has been more effective.
There's a question here. Is virtual surgery as effective as the real deal, if not better? As we said earlier, virtual surgery has no risks to it. When you say, is it as effective as the real deal, going under anaesthetic for any surgery carries a risk. um, the real deal, I think virtual gastric band is better than real surgery.
And just to add to that, I think it's also about the mindset.
Mindset,
So
absolutely.
it's more holistic and it's more sustainable because it's you yourself using the power of your mind to get to a healthy lifestyle that you want to get to. So it's not a quick fix,
It's
so
not quick,
it
no.
works with the mind. It gives you the holistic kind of effect. It's more about adopting a healthy lifestyle than just going and eating less,
Yes.
and then feeling sick afterwards. So I think that's why it works better. And because your mind believes that you've gone through surgery, the effects are also good and they are more progressive. But
Yes.
people are able to see long-lasting effects because we've prepped them, we've gone through the emotional state of mind, we've dealt with those negative emotions. So now they're in a positive state of mind where they are able to accept the positive suggestions and work on them for better and sustainable effects.
And you're also given tools,
yes,
that you can go back to. You're given recordings that you can keep listening to, that are recorded either by your therapist or by me.
Yeah, or by you, which was good enough.
Or by me. So you do have a lot of backup and continued support afterwards. You're not just left adrift, in the ocean. Yeah. So it's sustainable and it is effective. Absolutely. And it's not as expensive, which I think is a big plus.
It is. I think the gastric banding surgery, the actual surgery would cost, I don't know how much in pounds, but here would probably cost something like 60,000-70,000 dirhams.
Which is how much? How much is that?
Which would be about 10,000, 10,000, 12,000, 15,000.
It's about £10,000.
Yeah. And the virtual gastric banding is, I think it's 1/10 of that. Probably less than that. But again, my maths is not so good.
I'm trying to get, what's this about negative behavior? Hypnotherapy works with the subconscious to address any negative emotions that are leading to the negative behaviors. Yes.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Yes.
So what about people who are not 4 to 5 stones overweight? How can we help them lose weight? People who are just looking to shed a few stones, or like you said, after they come out of the lockdown, they may just have gained a few pounds, which they want to lose because now the holiday is coming up and they're able to go on a holiday, or a wedding is coming up. So how do we help those people? Or how can they help themselves?
How can they help themselves? It's getting those people really back on track. Again, changing their mindset. People who have got into bad habits. Mm-hmm. And so it's reversing those bad habits. Remember, we're in lockdown. We're under stress. Now, when we get bored, what happens? We don't realize, but actually boredom is a stressor. Mm-hmm. What happens when we get bored? We get stressed. When we get stressed, we wander to the cupboards. We open the cupboards up, we get the biscuits out, we go to the fridge. Oh, I've got nothing to do, fiddling. Okay, I'll get up, I walk to the fridge, I have a nibble, sit down, finish that, off I go to the cupboard again. And we're doing that. We're not meant to be bored. So boredom is a stressor. Mm. Not our fault. It's that very ancient brain. Mm. Not our fault. So it's now reversing. It's reversing that. It's using de-stressing, changing habits, explaining that stress, and going through it, and we'll be okay. It's a few sessions, changing habits, changing behaviors, learning to de-stress.
Absolutely. And I think it's also
difficult. It's not difficult.
Also guiding people to find alternatives to boredom. So if they are feeling bored, if they just kind of be conscious about what their behaviors are. So let's say, like you said, I'm feeling bored, I've got nothing else to do. My son messaged me yesterday saying, I'm feeling bored, I think I should dye my hair. And I'm like, this is not, not an alternative that I am looking for. He said, what else? You know, I'm cooking myself, I'm doing the workout, so please don't suggest that. What else can I do? So he has found this solution, and I could not contest that, because it's better than, you know, cooking too much or eating too much. It's better to dye your hair, do while you're in lockdown, and when you go out, you're back to normal. You know, so it's about finding those healthy alternatives, and you know, okay, this is the moment I'm going to start feeling bored. Like afternoons where people are a bit, you know, sleepy, they feel a bit lazy. That's the time where they can start getting onto things like, you know, starting their workout at that time, or reading a book, or listening to music, or playing a board game. You know, they have to find what works best for them, so they find an alternative.
Absolutely. It is, as soon as you recognize you're bored, instead of getting up and walking to the kitchen, go out into the street and walk. You know, do something else. You know, phoning friends, nah, you know, nobody's really got very much to say anymore.
Yeah. Except
hello, how are you?
I'm at home. There's nothing I'm doing.
No news. So I think it's a great idea. Dye your hair.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, try new things.
Find new things, learn a language. What Shorty said, I often tell parents that they shouldn't use the term bored. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Around their kids. Because when you're bored, you're boring, aren't you?
Yeah, and we're teaching our kids that. And then even kids, I hear my niece and nephew sometimes, oh, we are bored, what should we do? So yes, this is not a term that we should be using around kids. Yeah. And also it's about, you know, my sister was saying to me the other day, I think we should start, you know, we should go and we should learn how to do makeup, for example, right? You know, so you try new things that you can use when you've got nothing else to do. It's anything is better than going out and eating something from the cupboard.
Absolutely.
Or do online courses or something.
Absolutely. Go and learn. Actually, I was talking with a friend today. We speak about every couple of weeks because then we have a lot to say. And instead of crocheting, she's gone and got something. It's like a picture, and she puts on crystal and makes a lovely mock crystal picture of flowers and things. And she says it's really addictive and really de-stresses her. So that's something new.
Because Zaid has just said, Zaid has just mentioned that in these situations, we should do anything that can make us happy and help us release our creative side. You know, adult coloring books, for example. I know he's been sketching a lot. So, you know, those kind of things, that brings out the creative side of you.
Yes.
This is the best time to use them.
I think so. I think being creative, doing something you have never done before.
Okay, so so that no, please carry on.
No, anything. So going back to that to stop getting out of the habit of walking into the kitchen and eating because of boredom, which is a stressor. So the first thing, let's do something to stop the boredom, which is something you haven't done before. But when you do come out of lockdown, go and see somebody who can help you to realign, give you some good de-stressing tools, and get back on track, help you to get back on peace.
Yeah.
And become who you really are.
Absolutely. So it's about taking that initiative and staying committed. Right?
Yes.
So that's the kind. Any other? So is there any? When we say, you know, you help talk to somebody or get somebody to help you with this, do they always need a coach to do that?
Some people like to go down the coach route, the hypnotherapist route. Some people feel they need that, but not everybody. Some people would like to go to art classes, to be creative. It's what sits right with you. Maybe just going back to the gym, but gyms aren't going to be open for a while.
Yeah, they're not. They're not. Yeah.
You know, we will get back slowly into what was like the gyms and the restaurants, a normal life. So maybe this is where we come in, but it's not going to be face to face. Work for us is going to be online.
Yeah, a lot of that is going to be virtual now.
It's going to be virtual. Work will be virtual for the PTs, for the coaches, for the therapists. It's going to be online.
And I just want to make one point before we move on to the NNRT bit, is that, you know, there isn't, again, like everything else, there is no one size fits all thing. So if somebody else is 50 kilos or 55 kilos or whatever their weight is, it may be ideal for them, but we can't, you know, we can't compare. So it's about progress for yourself. It's about what is your goal and how far are you on reaching that goal, rather than comparing with others. So again, going back to what we were saying at the beginning about the body image and being aware of ourselves, being aware of our height, you know, our health, and doing everything within that spectrum of staying healthy. I think staying healthy is the thing, not losing weight or gaining weight, but more staying healthy.
It's staying healthy. There's lipstick and heels. How do you lose? I like that, lipstick and heels. How do you lose weight if you're already eating healthily and exercising, but not making a difference to the weight? If you have a healthy weight, you know, if you've got a good BMI, if you've got a good healthy weight for your height, why would you want to lose weight? Skinny is not good. To be skinny, to be thin, those are not good words. Health is the most important thing. Your immune system runs on health, not skinny. And that has to be taken into account. Health is the most important thing. If you exercise well, if you eat well, that's what's important. And now in the world we're in, we need strong immune systems. We don't need skinny and thin. And people who are skinny and thin are are in not a good situation and also need to seek help.
So I think it's important to establish that what is the target weight for you, a healthy weight, right? The healthy measurements. Once that is established, and if there is a roadblock where you're not able to get to that because of whatever, then certain regimes need to be changed. Then you can change maybe the way that you're exercising, take a break, give your body a bit of a shock, and then go back, right? Somebody has just, Sayed Mohsin has just asked that his gallbladder was removed 4 years ago and his metabolism has been low and he wants to lose weight. Then how can this help him?
I would think that, I mean, I'm not an expert. I'm not a nutritionist, and I would like to speak. I would imagine that this gentleman is living in your part of the world.
I think he's in Pakistan.
He's in Pakistan. Maybe get in touch with Sabahat and go through stuff and work together with a nutritionist and you.
Yeah. I think metabolism is something that varies. My metabolism isn't as good as it used to be. And of course, I have to work on it because now I'm aware that metabolism is slow. So my eating habits or my workout is focused around increasing that metabolism. You know, I feel that once the healthy weight is achieved, it's more about maintaining it than constantly trying to lose it.
Yes. As you get older, metabolism slows.
Yes, exactly. So thank you so much for all of that, Monica. So tell us a little bit about what you've created, the NNRT. So it sounds so intriguing.
Well, NNRT is bilateral eye movement. Bilateral eye movement has been around for a while. I'll explain. When we take in information, and everything around us is information we're taking in, you know, we're bombarded all day long, taking in information. Everything comes into the right side of our brain, creative side, to an area called the amygdala. And the amygdala deals with emotions. And then automatically, all that information is passed over to the left side of our brain, to the hippocampus, and is filed away. And anything that, and it's just filed away. And so we can look back on memories and stuff and say, oh, well, whatever wasn't pleasant, or we can see it as where it was, and oh, well, anything that wasn't pleasant, well, that wasn't very pleasant, but hey ho. And they started to wonder why. How was it when soldiers came out of theatre, out of certain fights, out of theatre, some would come out with PTSD, post-traumatic syndrome, and others would say, well, hey ho, that wasn't very pleasant, but our job, let's next. And with the ones who suffered with PTSD, they saw that information, that happening, hadn't been processed. It had got stuck. Right side, an emotion. And so it just kept going round and round and round. Now, there's nothing wrong with the brain, nothing wrong at all. It just hadn't been processed. And they found that by doing eye movement, just bilateral eye movement, they were able to reprocess and get that information passed over so it could be filed away.
Okay.
And that's it, sort of in a nutshell. And they started to use it for post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, rape, abuse, all of these, you know, really heavy duty stuff, fears, phobias, and it works really well. But also, I started to use it then in my clinic, with clients where anything was stuck, anywhere where a client was stuck and couldn't move forward, no matter what it was, whatever they were stuck with. And it worked. So I use it together with NLP, coaching, clinical hypnosis, mindfulness.
So it's used in combination.
I use it, I will either use it as a standalone or in conjunction with the other modalities. And it works very well. It works quickly and it works well. Boom. Like that.
It sounds amazing. Sounds amazing, because you know, even the results that we see with NLP and hypnotherapy and life coaching and all that the combination, like you said, all these therapies working together in conjunction bring around so much faster, better, transformational results that sometimes it surprises us and it surprises the client. Or how did I get?
I know, absolutely.
Bubble for 5 years or 6 years or 10 years or for forever. And now within a few hours or a few sessions, they suddenly snap out of it and they never go back. That's the beauty of it.
I know. You know, for you name it, and it will work. Wherever somebody is stuck and they can't move forward, it'll work for.
That's true. That's true. Okay, great. So do we have any
Let's have a look.
Let's have a look.
Oh yes,
we'll definitely share it on the live. I think it will be available for 24 hours. Any other questions that we would have missed?
how to lose weight if you're, anybody, if we have how to lose weight if you're already, eating, we've addressed that one.
Yeah. Any other questions, guys? Please, this is the time.
Yeah. What it to make us happy and help us really in these situations. What in these situations should we do anything that can make us happy and help us release our creative side? I did a little relaxation exercise yesterday on my IGTV Instagram side. We all know that breathing exercises relaxes us. You know, we sit and we just breathe, and it's really nice. And after we breathed, we feel really chilled, and being chilled makes us nice and happy. But there's a lovely mindfulness exercise where we can breathe and be creative at the same time. So I'll very quickly run through it with you. But if you hop onto my Instagram, IGTV, you'll find it. Just take a sheet of paper, put your hands on it, close your eyes, and just become aware. Breathe and just become aware of that page and feel the texture of it. And run your hands over that sheet of paper. And feel the texture and become aware, and do that for a couple of, say, for a minute or two. Then take a pen with your eyes closed, and with each breath, slow breath that you take, doodle. And so each stroke of the pen, do it with your breath, nice and soft and quiet. Doodle. Just doodle for a few minutes with your eyes closed over the pen, over the sheet paper. And then when you start, you can open your eyes and look at the sheet, at what you've created. And it's just